Good afternoon. This is Mark Stephen with Cowichy Creek Nursery, and I'm going to show you how I prune my roses and a little bit about the care of roses. The timing for pruning is from a couple of weeks ago to you can prune roses quite late actually. That's not a real important factor. A little bit about care of the roses. Because we live in a very cold climate here in central Washington, I mound mine with this bark mulch or some kind of mulch. I'll put equivalent of maybe a 5-gallon bucket on it, and then in the spring, as you can see, we've cleaned it out now, we've spread it around. And I use the same thing I like to have for the floor of my rose garden. That way I don't have to take it out and put something different in. And my wife likes them to not look so ragged in the winter, so I come in with a hedger and I trim off about half of the shrub just so they don't look quite so ragged. And then we come back at this time and we finish the pruning. Now, there's a lot of ways to prune these teas and grandifloras and such. The size of the bush that you want in the end kind of determines how low you cut it. We cut ours really hard. It gives us plenty of bloom. It gives us really nice flowers. For my wife does a lot of bouquets and stuff, and so that's why we cut them short. You don't have to cut this short. After you grow them a year and you kind of see where you like the height to be at the end of the year or midsummer, then cut accordingly in the spring. And so I'm going to get down here and we're going to look at this shrub here real quick. We'll talk about fertilizer a little bit more later. This is I think it's a hybrid tea. I don't have them labeled, and so I don't have them all memorized. But it has broke out into several heads, and I'm going to kind of bring it back a little bit today and make it into a more single shrub. And so I'm going to come in here. If you can see, we have right here kind of grown off to the side one here, and I'm going to try, if I can get on it right there, we'll take that out. And also you notice I have my welding gloves on. These are really nice for pruning roses, especially when you have a short sleeve shirt on. And then I'm going to come in here and clean this up, and so we'll get that out of the way. So now we have a more uniform shrub. And I'm going to come in and get some of these. We have cut in years past. I'm going to just single this out a little bit. I hope you can see this okay. And then I'm going to clip this off here, kind of single that down. I'm going to take this dead stub off. And this is kind of an awkward thing, but there's nothing over there, so I think I'm going to just kind of clean it up a little bit here. And let that kind of grow. I think that'll do fine. It's got quite a few things. I'm going to narrow this down to one. Maybe clean that up a little bit right there. And I'm going to take these two little things down here off. So I've got now about 5 or 6 canes, and then I decide, you know, we like to cut them pretty short, so I'm going to take it back about here, and I look for a bud going to the outside. You hear a lot about that. I've done both ways, and I'm not sure there's anything to it. And you hear the thing of cutting them at an angle, and where they have a lot of rain, it's supposed to shed the rain. That's not a concern here, and I've never seen any problem with any kind of cut. So I'm going to shorten these a little bit, and I try to go to the outside, but it doesn't always necessarily work right. And go a little farther here. Okay, so now I'm getting down to about where I want to be, and I don't see a bud on that side, so I'm going to cut this one to I mean, they're going to bud out all the way around, so there's going to be little limbs going all directions no matter how you do it. So I think that's done. I think I like it. It will bud out down here and along here, and it will be full of buds here in a couple weeks, and it's going to have some beautiful blooms on it. So I think that's all I'm going to do to that one. We have another one over here that has advanced itself a little farther already. I mean, I got this. And it's kind of the same thing. Inside, I don't know if you can see this, we have this, it's not dead, but it's not doing well. one here. We have some branches coming back in here. I'm going to single those out. I'm going to keep this main stalk, maybe single that one down a little bit, and try to work with this. In some ways I should save that one, but it's a little far out. I don't know if I want to do that. But there's a nice one over here. I think I'm going to try to, maybe if I don't ruin this, if I can get in there. It's sometimes hard to get into these. If I can get into it. There. That was a bunch of old stuff, so I got that out of the way. And so I have a younger one coming up there. And I think clean the top off of this a little bit. Maybe take this one here off his, and then I'm just going to shorten it up here a little bit. I think I'm going to leave that about, I might leave this shrub a little taller than that one over there. I'm going to take this out of the middle, and I'm going to take this one out here, which takes that one off. And I think there's a dead one right there. I want to get the dead stuff out. It's kind of close, so I didn't want to cut into the other one. I'm going to take this back side off here, if I can get around there. Okay, and I think I'll single this a little bit, and just kind of clean this up a little bit. And I'm just going to shorten these a little bit. But this one I'd like to shorten some, but it doesn't have a bud to way down there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and let that one go to the side. And the reason for opening up the middle is to allow more air to flow, so you don't have some of the fungal diseases that happen when you don't have when they don't dry out well. And I think I'm going to take the top off that one, the inside out here, and I should actually do that. And so that's cut down pretty good. This is pretty severe, and it looks terrible when you do it, but in the end, it works out really good. Okay, we got it shortened down. This is one I'm going to leave one to the inside on that one. Just it sort of balances that out. So I think I'm done with that.